wherever you are, hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today, but if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on through our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, gavin.jurors1@gmail.com for rates. And for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It is channel gboot2786. All right, I'll holla. Peace.
I'm attorney Gavin Richard. I grew up here in New Orleans, so I know how important family, friends, and community are to us. And helping others has been a lifelong passion of mine. If you've been injured in an accident, you may be out of work and faced with large medical bills. You'll need someone to fight the insurance company so that you can get on with your life. Give me a call at 504-799-2288, and I'll be with you all the way. The law offices of Gavin M. Richard. Going the distance so that justice may be served. I'm attorney Gavin Richard. I grew up here in New Orleans, so I know how important family, friends, and community are to us. And helping others has been a lifelong passion of mine. If you've been injured in an accident, you may be out of work and faced with large medical bills. You'll need someone to fight the insurance companies so that you can get on with your life. Give me a call at 504-799-2288, and I'll be with you all the way. The law offices of Gavin M. Richard, going the distance so that justice may be served. Hi, I'm attorney Gavin M. Richard. Check out my latest book, The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in America. For approximately 2 years now, I have gone on a painstaking quest to investigate the rise and fall of an American icon, Bill Cosby. In the mid-1980s, there was not a star that was higher than Cosby. Advertisements with Coca-Cola, Jell-O, Kodak, along with the #1 television show for 5 straight years in a row. On Thursday nights, it was must-see TV on NBC. Cosby resurrected the genre of the traditional family sitcom that was once thought dead by television critics. He did this as a Black American with an all-Black cast and showed mainstream network executives in white America that it was possible to be successful without showing the worst in people. He also demonstrated the power that television had, as it can make younger people dream to be the best that they can be. However, like many celebrity stars, unfortunately, they all come crashing down, sometimes by their own fault, others not so much. In this book, I attempted to highlight certain things. We go in depth into both of his trials in 2017 and 2018, respectively. What if I told you that these criminal trials were politically motivated by an overzealous district attorney? Will you also be shocked to learn the attacks on Mr. Cosby did not start in 2014, but also in the 90s, not long after his attempted quest to purchase a major network? From where did all of these allegations of sexual misconduct come from? Were the accusers telling the truth? In the 2 years of research, with some help from others interested in learning the truth and facts about this case, we discussed both the legal reasons why his prosecution and trial were illegal, unwarranted, and also the possible personal motives as to why this may have occurred. Most importantly, we warn about the dangers of prejudice and why trial by social media, or mainstream media rather, should never be the norm. All this and more in The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in America. Available on Amazon this fall in Kindle and paperback format.
Whoever you are, wherever you are, hope you are safe and doing blessed. The place to be is right here with me. You know what it is. It is Random Topic Thursdays on channel G-Boo 786. Whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you are blessed and doing safe. Tonight, we'll be discussing the following. Kyle Rittenhouse trial, day 3. Also, we'll be in relation to that, Ahmaud Arbery jury selection, one black juror, followed by the 2021 election day aftermath, Bloody Tuesday. And also, we'll be discussing WNBA parade, shows no one cares. All this and more, including additional topics. And I'm joined by my guest, special guest and friend to this channel who has produced over 75 books. You all know him, the SJS Directive, books such as The Man Crisis, the John Haynes series. And for Halloween, I hope you all got Eternal Night. Ladies and gentlemen, brother Shawn James. Shawn, how are you?
I'm good, Gavin. How are you?
We're doing fine. Thank you for joining me, guys. So make sure you please check out and go to Shawn's Amazon page and order any book that he has, please, so we can get this brother a vacation. He's earned it. But you guys, Shawn is coming back in a second. We'll get started. Of course, let's pay some dues. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like for you all to check out my website for our Creole seasoning blends, NonniesCreoleBlends.com, NonniesCreoleBlends.com. Try it on chicken, meat, or fish. Nonni goes great with every dish. Finally, guys, you can also check out music since your brother's in the music industry. We have Video Soul. Please go download that on Amazon, Spotify, and iTunes. You can check that out and stream that. And of course, our theme song, before we get on down, we got to get on up, which is available also on iTunes, Spotify, and Apple. So sit back, relax, get your popcorn ready. This is going to be a bumpy ride, ladies and gentlemen, but you will enjoy it. Let us begin, shall we? I know I said that wrong. Shall we begin? Okay, that's better. Here goes the copyright strike, guys.
Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat, because on the dance floor is where we'll live. Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the...
Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the...
Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on earth, wind, and fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop or do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. Time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Now, 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you breathe and you achieve. And so, if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll be.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up
And move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Yeah, gotta get on up. Come on, baby, gotta get on up.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Gotta get on up. Ladies and gentlemen, excuse me 1 second. How's everybody doing? I was watching 2.5 Men. How's everybody doing tonight? Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you are safe and doing blessed, whoever you are, wherever you are. Feel the groove, get on the floor, got to get on up. You all know you can stream that on Spotify. It's good if you can actually purchase it. I believe you can get that on Amazon, where you can purchase that as well. It's also pleased to go and it's also important to purchase Video Soul, because that's a good one that I have. I got more music that I'm working on, more stuff that's going to come out hopefully by the end of the year. I'm looking to have something due by Christmas, some stuff as well. You got to surround yourself with people who are like-minded if you want to be successful. And I'm learning that. And I had to learn that very late in the game. Because often, I had people who were either, if I want to work with them, oh, I'm going to work with you, and then put you off to the side and say, no, I'm too busy. And you can't be like that. And you can't depend on people, because you depend on them, then your dreams truly won't come true. And they got a lot of Freddy Kruegers out here in the world. And I think, Shawn, you know what I'm talking about. We have people who are like to create nightmares. But this is a like-minded person, an entrepreneur himself, Brother Shawn James, author extraordinaire. What's going on, Shawn?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. You were about to comment on that line I just said about Freddy Kruegers in the world and like-minded people.
Yeah, I've run into those myself. A lot of these people are jealous of you working towards success, and these crabs in a barrel, they try to drag you down. So you can't let them drag you down. You got to get with people who are working on goals for the future, because they're going to help you move forward and help you get to where you want to go.
Well, let me ask you, did you ever run into people like you were trying to collab with on something, and they would say, okay, yeah, we can collab, and when you reached out to them, they never gave you a call back, never spoke with you, or got too busy?
Yeah, a couple of times I've run into people like that, but I just charge them to the game, and I just keep moving to the next person.
There you go. That's what you got to do. So without further ado, Shawn, we're going to get right into it. I guess I'm going to start off on a light note, a semi-light note. I wanted to talk about this, ladies and gentlemen. I guess we can start. I spoke about this on Sunday, but J-Lo comes for Brother Wesley Snipes. Now, Shawn, I don't know if you've heard about this or saw my live stream Sunday, but I was talking about this with regards to this article that came out And to be fair, I believe these comments coming from 2018 from an interview that J-Lo had done. So it was a little while back, but she talked about point in her career where she did a movie with Wesley Snipes called Money Train, which was in 1995. Now, this was her first movie. And she did this, obviously after In Living Color was off the air. Because remember, she was a fly girl
Yeah.
on In Living Color. That's how she got started. And in the 90s, and that's Wesley Snipes, that's Woody Harrelson in the middle, and that's J-Lo to the right. In the 90s, Wesley Snipes, I think early 90s, between him and Denzel, they were battling for the top black actor in Hollywood. Although Eddie Murphy, I guess you could throw him in. They were the top three at that time. Will Smith hadn't blown up just yet in the early 90s. So she does this love scene with Wesley Snipes, and she talks about how uncomfortable it was. And she said, when you start working professionally, you push the boundaries of what you should and shouldn't do. And I didn't think I had the right to say no, like, no, I'm not doing this, and that's it. So we did it, and it was tough, she explained. Wesley was wonderful about it in the scene that he was like, what's going to make you more comfortable? And I was like, bring music, play it loud. According to Lopez, both of her male co-stars hit on her often, although Harrelson took a more comedic approach than Snipes. Wesley, even though I had a boyfriend at the time, went full court press. He was flirting with me. You always flirt with your co-stars. It's harmless. Then he just started getting a little more serious. He would invite us all out together, and then at the end of the night, he dropped me off last and tried to kiss me. I'd be like, Wesley, please, I'm not interested in you like that. He got really upset about it. Now, after the story came out, and she did this with SAG-AFTRA, this was back in 2018. He responded and said what happened was she had never done a love scene before. She was absolutely terrified. I was given instructions from the director to make her feel good. That was my job. I knew people would look at the screen and say either they have chemistry or they don't. I told her if she took my advice, we'd do a wonderful erotic scene. And if it wasn't a good love scene, they'd edit it around her and throw it on the floor. So she was 25 at the time. Now she's 50 and is on her 8th husband, or back to her 2nd husband or boyfriend, whatever, her 5th husband, boyfriend, whatever it was. And let's be real, J-Lo, I think she was messing around with dudes trying to get a come up. Me personally. Now, I think what they did in this movie, they tried to get, and they do it all the time in action films, as you know, Shawn. The star of the movie gets the girl. They bring an attractive girl in because they know, number one, girls will like her, and men will especially love her. Especially if she's a woman who is attractive. Men always get that. Men like that. We like seeing that. That's like with James Bond. Bond is always by a pretty girl. The hero of the movie gets the girl, and Wesley Snipes was the hero. So, what do you think of J-Lo, and what's going on with this situation? Do you find any credence to it?
I think this is another case of revisionist history, and I think your J-Lo is trying to rewrite the story as related to what went on between her, Wesley Snipes, and Woody Harrelson. And now that she's 50 years old and busted, now she wants to make herself a victim of something that never, I believe, happened on that set. Now, I believe that this 25-year-old Jennifer Lopez was out here probably trying to flirt with guys like Wesley Snipes, and she was on this set thinking about trying to move her career forward and also trying to move her personal life forward. Now, if you know history, Halle Berry on Jungle Fever had some issues with Wesley Snipes,
Right.
and she was trying to play both Wesley Snipes and Spike Lee off of each other. Now, your J-Lo and Halle Berry are in the same age range, and I'm seeing a pattern here as related to the behavior that they see Wesley on the set. He's an A-list star, and they wanted to see if they could get with this A-list star to move their careers forward. So they're trying to J-Lo is trying to rewrite history now that she's washed up like a thong on the spin cycle. The machine is stopped. The attendant is about to take the thong out of the machine and drop it in the trash. So that's what's happening.
Think that thong is worn out, it's faded, and it's also got cracks and holes in it.
Yeah, it's done. It's been
the elastic has worn out on that thong.
Yep.
Whatever was left on that flaw.
She's done, and now she wants to rewrite the story on incidents that went on. And
she had no problem giving it up to George Clooney and Out of Sight later on.
No, she had no problem getting in these type of scenes with these white guys, but all of a sudden she wants to make Wesley into the big black brute, which is par for the course with this Me Too narrative. Every time one of these washed up actresses needs to try to get themselves relevant, they go out here and find a black man to make the bad guy of the story, and they want to revise the history of that story to make it look like they're a victim, but they were no victim at all. They were out here and looking to get with whoever was a star and move themselves forward in the Hollywood social scene. That's what happened here with J-Lo. She, in the beginning, wanted to go out here and move herself up the same way Halle Berry was trying to move herself up on that Jungle Fever set. And now she wants to, now that she's 50 years old, busted and broken down, now she wants to rewrite the story to make herself out to be a victim. But she wasn't a victim at all. And if there was any sort of incident like this going on the set, then she would have gone to her union rep, and the union reps would have helped deal with this set, because the whole thing is that on these sets, there are rules, there are guidelines, and all sorts of standards for how actors and actresses are supposed to be treated. And if an actress is uncomfortable, she can get a body double the same way Julia Roberts, a rookie at the same time, got a body double to be in Pretty Woman.
Right. She actually tried to make Wesley Snipes look like Simon Phoenix from Demolition Man. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. And Wesley back in the day in the 90s, he became, for our generation, like the first black action star. I'm talking about in my generation in the 90s, because they didn't have, I mean, even with Eddie Murphy, Eddie only action movie he did up until that time was the Beverly Hills Cop series, and it was more comedic. Whereas you look at films like Passenger 57, Murder at 1600, those movies were more dramatic take. And I didn't know this, Shawn, but Passenger 57 was made by a black man.
Yeah, it was. It was one of Wesley's biggest hits.
Right. Passenger 57. Y'all look this up. This brother who made it, his name was, the director was a brother by the name of Kevin Hooks. And his father is actually was an actor too. He was in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I didn't know this. He wrote the screenplay to that. Well, no, he didn't write the screenplay. He directed it, but that was big back in the day. But I remember that, and of course, Jada Pinkett Smith took Wesley Snipes' haircut, went all the way out. Hey, y'all want to see Simon Phoenix? Hold on. And the home of the brave. Poor Wesley. And then they put him in drag. Ugh.
Yeah, it was that Tu Wong Fu.
Yeah. You think he's never spoken about that?
Well, I wouldn't want to speak about it either.
Yeah. Ugh. But yeah, Passenger 57. I mean, that was huge back then when it came out, when we saw that. So yeah, but this thing with J-Lo, yeah, I think J-Lo is just doing this. Her career really took. Honestly, you haven't heard of her career. She hasn't been great. You haven't heard her in news in a long time, other than the movies that came out recently where she's playing a mom, for instance. She did The Boy Next.
House Coat.
Yeah. From that what?
They got her in that house coat and them slippers. She's done.
The house coat and them slippers. Yeah, remember when she did the movie The Boy Next Door? She made out
Yeah.
has sex with a 19-year-old. Then she does Hustlers where she's a stripper. I'm not gonna lie to you. I love that shit. Hustlers, I love that. The only problem is, I guess, the hypocrisy in it. If you watch the film, the women are praised as heroes for getting the men drugs and taking their money. But when Bill Cosby got accused of it, he was the arch villain enemy. Oh, this is evil, this is evil. They were doing the same thing he was accused of.
Yep.
Yeah. Wesley put on for the dark-skinned brothers. Always bet on black. Color town. I think he's also, I find this interesting they're coming up with this too, Shawn. He's supposed to be, I guess, doing a multiverse of Blade. If I'm not mistaken, there were talks about that. I even saw that he was actually going to do a movie that was going to be it was going to be, I guess you could say, inspired by Blade, but not Blade 2. And who knows where that would go. Had you heard about that?
Yeah, I had heard that he was planning on doing something with Blade, but I wouldn't do anything with Marvel the way it is right now. I mean, they're all social justice, and they wouldn't be able to let him do the Blade like he did in '98.
Blade will be bending over for Frost.
Yeah.
The guy who they got doing it, Marshall Ali, he's going to be the new Blade. You know, all of his movies, he's won Best Actors for. He was involved in or some shape with with
some of that booty action.
Say no more. We're gonna get, or else they're gonna ban this channel.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna say anything else. But
yeah. But y'all see the hit that like, share, and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all see the PayPal link, the Cash App at the bottom. Salute to Black Voltron Reloaded, my brother, always in here. Darius from Atlanta. Yeah, Lamiko had the quote, always bet on black. No, she had a collection. She had a collection of noise. That wasn't an album. And she wanted, you notice how all of these white and Hispanic artists want to be down with black people. They want to be down and, oh yeah, have the hip hop beats. Ain't that funny? And then when they start making more money, they leave.
No, that's what
Miley Cyrus.
That's what they do. They come and they piggyback on us. Then when they springboard, then they go out here and abandon the black community. That's why we shouldn't let anybody in.
Right. And I remember when J-Lo was broke, her ass was even bigger than what it is now. Her booty was big back in the 90s when she was on In Living Color. It was bigger. And that nose was bigger too.
Yep. But she wanted to be white.
Right. I remember. What's funny too, Shawn, why haven't you heard from, why is it, and shout out to Harvey because he mentioned this and did a video earlier. Had you noticed that the only two fly girls that are, I guess if you want to say household names, I guess that's the best way of putting it, are J-Lo and Carrie-Ann and Arbor?
Oh,
And those are the black, and those two were not the non-black dancers. They had a couple of white girls that were with the fly girls, but they're the only ones that actually made it, did something afterwards.
Well, that's what they want to do. They wanted to push the non-black ones because that's what Hollywood does. They will push non-black women over black women because that's how they do their business. So that's par for the course with them.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm gonna put up Exhibit A. Look at it right here, y'all. This was Spanish Harlem, Jennifer Lopez. Now she's gentrified Harlem. Y'all see that?
Yep.
The original Fly Girls. Rosie Perez was the choreographer for the Fly Girls. Even she went MeToo on Spike Lee.
Yep.
I'm like, damn.
We let you in the door, but then they turn on you because they want to get more clout with white folks.
Right. And she did more sex scenes after Do the Right Thing with Woody Harrelson and White Man Can't Jump.
And had no problem doing it with the white guys, just like Jennifer Lopez had no problem with the white boys. He had no problem with Ben Affleck. But she wants to revise history.
Yeah.
Again, if she had problems, she could have went to her union rep. She could have went to the executive producer. She could have went to the director, because there's a chain of command that you can go to, and requesting a body
But the
double is no
director is the
problem.
one that suggested it. So
Yeah,
the director is the one that suggested if she had a problem, she could go to the producer.
Yeah,
The
and
producer fires the director.
yeah, and the union, and the whole thing is the union would have said, "Look, you're just gonna have to get a body double."
Yeah. All right. Well, let us move on, my friend. We hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And J-Lo can't sing either. Where is this article? Okay. So I got to talk about this, ladies and gentlemen. Now, what you're looking at, ladies and gentlemen, is a real life photograph. This is our next topic. I'm getting into the lighter stuff right now instead of at the end. It's random, no order. WNBA parade shows no one cares. In the age of wokeness and why women's sports does less than men's and it's unfair, we need gender equality, we need money. The WNBA's Chicago Sky won the national championship, the WNBA championship. And Mayor Lori Lightfoot announced that who's the mayor of Chicago, announced that there would be a parade with the winners rally up on Michigan Avenue. For those that are in Chicago, I'm sure you're familiar with where that is. In a similar style to the celebrations of previous sports championships that all have been won by men's teams. Now, this is from Martha. Shout out to her. And some people. But here's a video of the actual parade, 1.9 views. Yeah, notice it's one person clapping. Now let's overlook that with what we see here from the 90s when the Chicago Bulls won the NBA championship, ladies and gentlemen. Let's look at this. Fair use, by the way, fair use.
Among those who could suffer most if the Bulls, as we know them, really do break up as the trash collection company hired for duty after championship parades. Bulls fans today littered the streets once again.
Heard that litter.
The NBA for the third straight time.
The streets in the WNBA championship were not littered. Everybody politely picked up the trash and threw it away at the same time.
And Michael loaded us up on his shoulders and carried us home. And this was our last dance, and it was a wonderful waltz. Thank you all. I just want to thank you guys for.
Now, I don't know exact number of people, but
let me.
I
want to thank all my teammates, the organization, the lovable, everyone who supported us in the city of Chicago. It's been a great run.
I'm pretty sure, Shawn, that's more than a few thousand.
I know a lot of people didn't think we
well more than that.
This year. Nobody knows if we're going to be in Grand Park next year.
Now, let's juxtapose this. Let's stop it.
But the one thing I do.
Now, look, hold on. Look at that crowd. Now, let's go back. Oh, I'm being petty today, guys. I'm being petty. Let's go back, Shawn. Let's look at the WNBA pictures of their parade. Let's look at the Chicago Sky parade. Let's go back.
life is just going on.
People actually trying to get to the Walmart behind them. What the hell's the hold up? So, of course, so a few people commented and were congratulating the Chicago Sky on their championship. It was shot from that video you saw was shot from a building overlooking the parade and showed the small crowd cheering loudly as the victorious team rode past them in a motorcade. Twitter users quickly expressed their disappointment at the lack of crowds gathered to celebrate Chicago's first professional basketball win since the Bulls collected their 6th NBA championship in 1990. One user wrote, "I feel bad for them. I only found out we had a team last week when they made it to the finals. So they didn't even know they existed." Now, in all seriousness, Shawn, I want to ask you this question. Do you think they found out they didn't exist because it was mistreatment? Do you think of female WNBA athletes? Do you think it's just the fact that nobody's watching, or no one's just interested, or people just don't really care, or is it all of the above? What exactly?
I'd have to say it's all of the above, because the WNBA should just be called the whack NBA, because these players are whack and they don't have any style to their gameplay. They're very boring to look at, and that's why nobody cares about the WNBA. I mean, the WNBA is a bunch of females who play some very boring basketball, have no personality, and nobody has a reason to care about them. I mean, they had a championship parade, and the reason why nobody came is because nobody cared. And all these so-called social justice warriors who complain about the WNBA, many of these people are hilarious, because it looks like they couldn't find any bus fare to go pay for this team that they talked about how they wanted so much to be diverse and inclusion, but they couldn't find no money to get to go to the parade for the team that they don't even support. I mean, when we look at WNBA ratings, I mean, there are episodes of Webster that got higher ratings than these so-called games. No one cares about the WNBA at all, and that this whole parade just is another reason why the WNBA should just be dissolved, because the WNBA is losing millions of dollars for the NBA, and it's just being propped up. And at this point, it's a dead league. And if you can't get people to come out and go to the parade for these teams, then you may as well just dissolve them and just call it a day.
Look at this. Okay, hold on. This is Skylar Diggins
What?
Smith.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
The league in the world is. We work tirelessly in the WNBA. It's the most competitive league in the world.
You fucking crazy, man. You sound insane.
I just found this.
You should be medicated.
It's only 144 women that get this blessing
She
to have
cute,
the opportunity. Nobody's really retiring, and every year it comes in great talent. So it's the highest level of basketball. And if you love basketball, you love the WNBA.
What?
No,
what
I think she's married to a man, I think.
Bonner. Here comes Floyd. Howard looked like she got away with an illegal screen on Turner. Howard finishes.
Look, they miss layups.
But where's the jams? Where's the fancy footwork? I mean, they have no style.
He's thought about it. Dribbles into traffic.
Bonner, plenty of room in front of her. Oh. Goes around the other side. Shot's not falling. Mercury is 1 for 8.
Right, she's not a lesbian.
Yeah, but she's one of the few.
She's one of the few. Right.
Nobody's jamming the ball. Nobody's doing like Michael.
No
Jordan.
hard fouls.
No 360s.
Shoot the J. Shoot it.
Some things, and passing is definitely one of them. A steal underneath, and who's on the floor? Sky players, less than a minute here. Copper all the way to the rim, but cannot connect. Tierra Rufford ran in transition.
God, come on with lots of fire.
Howard, the ball fake. Forced the hook. There was nothing there.
Right. You know who's another fine one, Shawn? Dwight Howard's girlfriend who plays. Oh my God, she's fine. Got ass. Oh, he's a fine. His wife, excuse me. I think he's married to her now, but she plays in the WNBA. She's gorgeous. Tia Cooper. She's one of the few that's not that doesn't swing that way. But Candace Higgins, no, that was his ex-wife, I believe. Let me see. She plays for the Sparks, Los Angeles Sparks, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's one of the few. She's not gay. Hold on, let me. But Candace Higgins, who played in the WNBA, she talked about how she was bullied during her career, and she was bullied because she said that 98% of the women were lesbian, and they would get mad with her because she was straight. Let me just read this article for you. She states here, and I quote, me being heterosexual and straight and being vocal in my identity as a straight woman was huge. I would say 98% of the women in the WNBA are gay women. It was a conformist type of place. There was a whole different set of rules the other players could apply. There was a lot of jealousy and competition, and we're all fighting for crumbs. The way I look, the way I played, those things contributed to the tension. That's Candace Wiggins. She's not bad looking. Not bad looking.
Yeah.
And well, wait, let me show everybody so the men could take a look at Tia Cooper, because I know they want to look at her. So this is Dwight Howard's ex. The eye surprise. But I gotta mute the music. I'm gonna get hit with a BS copyright strike. So yeah, that's her. Mm-hmm. What you think, Shawn?
Yeah, she's good looking.
She got skills.
Yep.
Let me stop because my girlfriend is looking at this and to see, why are you thirsty? You got nothing to look at? All right. But yeah, man, what did you think? So about the parade, you think it's just nobody is just interested in this stuff, or what?
Nobody's interested in WNBA because the gameplay is lame, and there's nothing special about it. I mean, if you watch a regular men's NBA game, you're going to see some really great gameplay. You're going to see guys doing all sorts of super cool moves. You're going to see them taking it straight to the hoop to jam it in. You're going to see them shooting the three-pointers and actually hitting them. You're going to see a lot of stuff going on. I mean, Michael Jordan took on 5 guys of the starting 5 to get 2 points. I mean, that's the stuff people go to watch games for. Nobody wants to watch bumbling, stumbling females who talk about empowerment, but can't even play the game and just are embarrassing to look at. I mean, it looks like a child playing Super Mario and playing poorly.
Okay, in short, I'm saying pay these women. That's what I'm.
Rebound. She missed the putback. So did Howard. Rebound.
If my daughter ever decides to pick up a basketball, I want her to have the same opportunity that my nephew has. Okay,
Why would I pay you for that type of horrible gameplay?
Yeah.
She's gonna go elegant about it. You need to be paid because you command the same respect.
Here's another thing too, why they don't get paid that much. You gotta attract an audience.
Yeah.
You gotta attract an audience, and when you attract an audience, you get sponsors. Sponsors pay advertisers to put their product in it because they know customers are gonna buy it. That's why you see Coca-Cola products at an NBA game. That's why you see Visa. That's why you see Under Armour. Kobe Bryant just made his widow is gonna get $400 million because Under Armour was bought, I believe, by Coca-Cola for several $billion. And because Kobe Bryant made an investment in that, his family is gonna be rich. People, all around the world know who Kobe Bryant is.
Yeah.
The Black Mamba. He attracted everybody. It's his style of play, his leadership on the field court. People love that stuff. And playing for the Los Angeles Lakers, that has been around for years and so forth. That's a household name. That's why people watch it. These ladies, and I'm not saying there aren't some who aren't good basketball players. Sure, they have their exceptions, but let's be real. There's a reason why it's on ESPN2 and not on NBC. Why they don't put it on ABC? Nobody watches it. They couldn't even get a high rating on they couldn't even get decent ratings on ESPN2.
That's embarrassing.
You know, ESPN.
My partner, but not only is she an outstanding analyst.
Look at that. I got it on mute because I just don't want them to hit me with any copyright strikes, guys. But woo!
They play worse than junior high school kids. It's just embarrassing.
No, don't insult junior high school kids now, Shawn.
Yeah, well.
Oh, look at that. No dunk.
Yeah, at least the junior high school kids would jam it in. And they would try to do something.
Now, Brittany Griner, that's the one who I think she cut off her breast and tried to be a man. I believe it's transgender, if I'm not mistaken. Okay.
Yep, but this is WNBA is just the gameplay is just not watchable. I mean, I have a critical question. What happened to all the woke people who say they're all about diversity and inclusion and diversity is our strength? Why didn't they show up to the parade? Oh, wait, I got an answer to that. They couldn't get enough money for bus fare. And they couldn't bum rides, so.
Yeah.
But I mean, if this is your thing, you're supposed to show up for it. I mean, if this is your cause, where are all these people? I mean, where are all that members of the alphabet community who say that they're all about supporting stuff? I mean, where are they?
And I want to apologize. That was not her who was transgender. I apologize because I get them mixed up. They all look alike. But
that's my critical question. Where are all these people? Where are all these woke types? Where are you? I mean, you say you want the WNBA, you're all about this, but when it's time to put the money down, you're not watching the games. You're not going to parades. I mean, if you say you're a fan of something, you think you would be there for the thing that you say you're a part of.
Right. Well, I think we spent a little too much time on this, Shawn. We're going to get into the other topics, but yes, Brittany Griner did get into some domestic violence trouble. I remember that. Yeah. But let me go ahead and let's talk about this next topic. Yeah, you go woke, you get broke. I gotta, in all seriousness, ladies and gentlemen, we gotta address this, and that is the 2021 election bloodbath that took place. And Shawn, you predicted this, that there was going to be a bloodbath in November with regards to the election results and so forth. And it appears that that was the case. Even in Virginia, for example, that was big. We had President Obama, former President Obama, Kamala Harris, the vice president.
And we're going to turn now to a rough election night for Democrats. In Virginia, Republican Glenn Youngkin pulled off a big victory over Democrat Terry McAuliffe. In New Jersey,
I hate when they just start
Murphy
these
was
videos
expected
as
to win
soon
in
as
a
you get there.
landslide, but as
Hold on. It's going to start again. Watch.
noise canceling.
Fair use.
And we're going to turn now to that rough election night for Democrats. In Virginia, Republican Glenn Youngkin pulled off a big victory over Democrat Terry McAuliffe. In New Jersey, Democratic incumbent Phil Murphy was expected to win in a landslide, but is leading tonight by a razor-thin margin. We get more now from CBS's Ed O'Keefe.
Big warning signs tonight for Democrats as the upset in Virginia and tighter than expected results in New Jersey put President Biden's agenda and Democratic control of Congress in jeopardy. Mr. Biden said voters sent a message.
The people want us to get things done. People are upset and uncertain about a lot of things.
That was clear in Republican Glenn Youngkin's victory over Democrat Terry McAuliffe in Virginia, a state the president had won by 10 points a year ago. Voters showed they were unhappy with the direction of the country and inaction in Washington. Some Democrats today blame themselves.
Look, congressional Dems hurt Terry McAuliffe. If we had been able to deliver infrastructure and reconciliation in mid-October, he could have sold universal pre-K, affordable child care, infrastructure, creating jobs.
With the president's approval ratings at a record low, Democrats are now trying to figure out how to win in states similar to Virginia and New Jersey and hold on to their slim majority.
As one who will be running for re-election in 2022, I need results that I can tell the American people that Congress can deliver.
Republicans who saw Democrats unsuccessfully try to tie Youngkin to Donald Trump relished the results.
I think this is an earthquake. I mean, it really is an earthquake. This is a clear signal from voters in a blue state. I mean, Virginia is a very blue state that they don't like President Biden's policies.
Virginia exit polls showed another troubling sign for Democrats. Youngkin won in suburbs and rural areas, appealing to independents and making gains with women voters. And he capitalized on concerns about parental control of public education.
Friends, we're going to embrace our parents, not ignore them.
The president said today that for Democrats to bounce back, they should pass his sweeping social spending plan because it'll help struggling Americans. When I asked him what he would say to congressional Democrats about passing the plan, he said simply, quote, "Get it to my desk." Nora?
Ed O'Keefe, thank you.
Okay.
Oh, damn, I was muted. So I was talking this whole time muted. My mistake. So I was saying, Shawn, even a write-in candidate up in Buffalo, where you're at, won the election, and people did not want India Walton, who is 38 years old, a registered nurse and a former nonprofit executive, because they claim that she would push a radical socialist trying to learn she was a radical socialist. They said she was also an AOC backed candidate, according to Fox. They say AOC socialist.
She is.
She is. And let's look at her. Oh, so you've been following up on her.
Yeah.
Some research. Oh, the haircut says it all. Yeah. So a message was sent. Now you couple that, let's look at Virginia, and shout out to Professor Black Truth, because he even pointed this out. If you look at the state of Virginia, remember, Biden won Virginia by over, he carried Virginia by over 2 million votes, if I'm not if that number is correct, versus Trump, who had only, hold on, I have the number here. I don't want to say the wrong thing. Yeah, well, he did not carry. In this situation, their own base did not carry them the last time. And that was the main thing. And some black voters stayed home, but I also saw black voters. It was reported in the polls that at least 80% of them voted Democrat. And I can bet these were old Negroes that did that. But it says here, okay, so here's the actual quote from Professor Black Truth, his tweet. Terry McAuliffe, who was the Democratic candidate, got 800,000 votes less than Jim Crow Joe did just a year ago. Youngkin got 300,000 less than Trump. Nobody switched to the GOP. The GOP lost ground. What happened was Dem voters stayed home. I hope they blame black people until they do what they say they'll lose. What we say they'll lose. So people stayed home, and also people, I think, voted in combination against these mandates that we see that are taking place, but also the radical agenda that the Dems are pushing. Yeah, they were out there buck dancing. I did see that. Shawn, what did you think of what happened and took place with this?
Well, I predicted that this was going to happen way back in 2020 when I started to see the hairline fractures with the left. And the left has a big problem with arrogance, and they just want to try to just keep shoving their way down people's throats, and to the point where people are just getting tired of their lockdowns. They're getting tired of their mandates, and people are just getting fed up with them overall, because if you don't see it the left's way, then they don't want, they try to demonize you and make you into an enemy. And the things they are doing, they don't understand the stuff you're doing are making people into Republican voters, because at least with the right, they know that they can still have their freedoms that they have under the Constitution. Now, this bloodbath that's getting started is just the start of things, as I see it, because people all across this country are tired of these leftists. They're tired of their obsession with Donald Trump, which is one of the reasons why McAuliffe got destroyed, because they made it all about Donald Trump and did not listen to the needs of the American people, who are still struggling as related to this pandemic and the unemployment that they were forced under, and the fact that many of the American people, their needs are not being heard by a government that still is detached, and their answer is just pass our agenda. Well, your agenda is the problem, and most Americans don't like your agenda. They don't like the things in your agenda which make no sense, like your paid family leave. I mean, who's going to pay, what company is going to pay 2 paychecks, one for an employee who's not working there and one for another employee who's working there? Critical question. I mean, these policies that they have make absolutely no sense. And then they say they're going to get millionaires to go and pay for all these taxes. And people look at that and go, well, you did that in the 60s. And what happened was all the companies moved overseas and they took their jobs, and the rich people took their money and moved overseas. So you're not even thinking critically about anything that you're proposing. And you're sitting there and say, I want to do this infrastructure plan. I want to do this social plan. And this is a big grand delusion, similar to what your President Johnson had in the 60s with the Great Society, which turned America into a welfare state and practically puts the country on the road to decline. I mean, that's what we're seeing.
That are annoying and offensive.
These leftists
and seem out of.
Go
That's
ahead,
what we're seeing with these leftists. And we have a Joe Biden who is completely detached, that even in the face of taking a loss, he continues to double and triple down. Just today, talking about mandates on January 4th, when he just needs to say, look, there's not going to be any mandates. I'm listening to the people. But instead of listening to the people, he continues to try to bully, threaten, and harass them, following the lead of your Bill de Blasio, a man whose approval rating is lower than Osama bin Laden, and still does not get it. I mean, that's the whole thing, is he does not get it, your Joker Joe Biden, and he doesn't understand that the people who are staying home were part of his party, and the people who are out here and getting angrier are more and more Americans who he's turning into Republicans by threatening their jobs with this jab mandate. And he doesn't understand every person who gets laid off their job or gets put on a what they call suspension or loses their job, that's going to be a Republican voter in the next election. And if you think what happened in New Jersey and Virginia was a bloodbath, get ready for a massacre in 2022.
Murphy won the governor's
He got
race.
by, and a message was sent.
By a very slim margin. But you look at this, okay, so this is CNN, and we know they lean to the left. They make no secret about it. You see 1.6 million here from Youngkin, 1.5 from McAuliffe. And they say less by 96,000 votes. So this was a close election, but more people either stayed home. They even talked about it on MSNBC. They didn't get the black vote because people are listening to us. You want to know why? We don't want to be taken for granted.
No.
And listen to what, before you get back, Shawn, I got to play a couple of video and I got to make another point. But let me play this video first because Shawn Van actually confirms what you just said and what most of us are all thinking.
I think that the Democrats are coming across in ways that we don't recognize, that are annoying and offensive and seem out of touch in ways that I don't think show up in our feeds when we're looking at our kind of echo chamber. And I think that this is a message.
It does show up in your feeds. You just block them.
I think that the Democrats are coming across in ways
you
that we
ignore
don't
them.
recognize, that are annoying and offensive and seem out of touch.
This is the political TO, guys. He's always crying about some shit. He's like crying like TO when TO lost Romo in that play, when Romo went down in that playoff game. That's my quarterback. I remember that. That's my quarterback. That's my quarterback. But finish with the point you were about to say, Shawn, because I got to make another point about Joe Biden, President Biden, Jim Crow Joe, and I'm about to show something right quick. Y'all need to see.
People stayed home because they saw nothing to vote for, especially black people, because remember, your Joe Biden told black people in 2020 in December that he wasn't going to do anything for them. So what reason would black Americans have to go and vote for politicians who they weren't going to get anything tangible from? So most black Americans, they are now listening to new black media, realizing that your Joe Biden, in his own words, condemned himself. And this whole Democratic Party, they are just so detached from reality that people are looking at them and they're seeing that they have really gone insane, which goes back to a point in my classic video that I made last year when I said they have a Trump obsession. And instead of trying to help out the American people, they go out here and they want to just keep focusing on Donald Trump. And now we see who the maniacs truly are, because with this jab mandate, they show how obsessed they are, because they're not even looking at reality anymore. And when we look at their Build Back Better program and their talking points, this stuff just comes out straight out of Arkham Asylum. It's just completely insane, and they believe that their way is the only way, and they don't want to listen to anyone. And when I listen to Joe Biden today, again, doubling and tripling down instead of admitting that you're wrong, no, they just keep saying, pass my thing, put it on my desk. Well, everybody has a problem with your program because your program comes from the place of a mentally ill person who does not study history and doesn't see that he's on the same road that Lyndon Johnson is on. And that road is going to lead to him becoming a one-term president who's going to be gridlocked next year.
That's Van Jones' distant cousin.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop because I love T.O. too. I actually like him. He actually stood up against some a lot of the racist shit that goes on in the NFL. So I'm not going to knock T.O. But yeah, that's the type of crap that was going on. Yeah, Darius. Crying Jones. He was crying about something else. He cried about when Biden won. He cried when Trump won. I mean, damn. But I want to make this point because I got to go to our last topic, but I want to show you all this. Y'all remember, Shawn, when we were talking about this plan and proposal that Biden was going to give $450,000 to illegal immigrants. Well, he's come out denying that was going to happen. And this is on ABC News. Now,
and plans to give families forcibly separated at the U.S. border during the Trump administration $450,000. During an event yesterday, he called reports about the individual payouts, quote, garbage. He did not go into any details about possible financial settlements.
Time now for a look at your Thursday weather.
Okay, we don't need to see Thursday weather.
Northern Michigan gets
$450,000 during an event yesterday.
So he's saying that it's garbage, that it's not going to happen. But the Wall Street Journal confirmed. The Wall Street Journal said the total payments could have been $1 million per family. And ABC News confirmed last week that some officials had considered payments, but reported that the exact dollar amount had not yet been determined and could change. Now, the thing is this. This was confirmed by the White House. Here's the problem with Biden's comments. He's agreeing, though, however, that they are going to get a settlement agreement with these families. And I know so because the ACLU are the ones that filed the case. They're representing the families. And you have this here, John Pierre, who is the press secretary, the deputy press secretary of the Biden administration, said that Biden is perfectly comfortable with a settlement agreement between migrant families and the government and was simply responding to the reported price tag. John Pierre then confirmed reports that DOJ officials relayed to lawyers representing families that a reported figure of $450,000 per person was higher than what the government could agree to. She also suggested that a settlement with the families could save taxpayers dollars by avoiding the cost of litigation. Here's the problem. And my thing, yes, you can file any lawsuits you can, but these people are illegal. That's what makes this thing frustrating. It's not just the dollar amount. It's the fact that they broke the law entering this country. When Trump was the president, he had a zero tolerance policy that was in place with it. As the president of the United States, he has the authority of the executive branch to enforce the laws. United States Code makes it very clear. If you enter in this country without going through customs and borders, you've broken the law. And every nation has a right to sovereignty, meaning how it governs its borders. Correct, Shawn?
Yes.
Okay, so here we have a president who doesn't believe in sovereignty, obviously. He doesn't believe in sovereignty. He doesn't believe in his own laws. So why are we still, and we have people that are still protecting him? If you break, I wish Judge Joe was here because he would break this down even better than I could and go off. You know, I remember when this Jim Crow Joe used to go around and said he didn't want black cockroaches on his lap. I remember this slime ball Biden was talking all of this shit with Strom Thurmond and Roy Forbes and all of these Democratic Party members. I remember this bullshit. So we have illegal immigrants that are coming into this country and getting us, and we have the ACLU, the American Civil Liberties Union, is suing on their behalf. Yet, will this ACLU do anything for the black people who have been shot and killed? Will they do anything pushing for reparations for the black American community? Hell no.
Nope.
But go ahead, Shawn. I'll let you have the final word on this topic.
Well, your Joker Joe is trying to gaslight people by saying that he didn't propose this, but we have documentation to prove that this was the proposal he presented and his administration presented. So this is a classic tactic of abusers. Is what they try to do is gaslight you by saying that, oh, what you heard wasn't true, or what you saw you didn't see. And that's what your Joe Biden is trying to do here. He's trying to gaslight the American people into believing that he did not propose to give almost $500,000 to these illegal immigrants. And this whole policy, it disgusted most Americans because they're being told to either lose their job over a jab, and you have him talking about giving six figures to people who are non-citizens and have committed a criminal act. That in and of itself is insane, and it's probably an impeachable offense because
yes, that's another thing. It should be because the presidents can be impeached for. Well, the presidents can be impeached either for in the Constitution. I know I said I'll give you the last word, but it's treason. It's commission of high crimes. Felonies and and felonies on misdemeanors.
This is a high crime as I see it, because to give your American citizens nothing and then take away their jobs, cut their unemployment, and then you're going to go out here and as the executive officer of the United States, you're going to give illegal immigrants money. That's a violation of the highest level and a complete betrayal of the people of the United States. And these leftists, what's crazy about them is everything they allege Donald Trump was supposed to be about, they're actually doing, which just falls into that classic nice guy paradigm where they sit there and talk about how bad your Donald Trump was. But and then as they were out here making promises to say that they're going to do better, but we see that they're not building back better. Instead, they're tearing America down, dividing America. And we're seeing who the real villain is, because this is what happens with many of these nice guys like your Joe Biden. They talk a good game about what they're going to do when they get in, but then once they get in, they show their backside to the world, treat people like garbage, and then wonder why people hate them. And this is, again, the classic nice guy paradigm playing out for us with your Joe Biden, who is now participating in one of the classic tactics I see your beta males love to participate in, and that is gaslighting by saying, oh, I didn't say that. And we have records of you saying that, and then out here trying to justify all of the evil things that he alleged the other guy did and trying to make it look like he's a good guy. But in actuality, he's looking more and more like a monster every day.
All right, most definitely. We will wrap that up. I know, Shawn, we got one more topic, ladies and gentlemen. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Lamiko said Trump may have not been the best president for all of us, black people, but I was willing to deal with his shenanigans than to deal with what I'm dealing with now. That's why I didn't vote for Biden.
Yeah, he's a classic nice guy. And if you study the nice guy, you'll see that he's a bigger monster than the jerk he alleges is so bad. I mean, guy, what he will do is he will talk about how abusive the other guy is, but then will abuse you even more. And then what he does is he tries to justify his abuse by saying he's doing it for your own good. He's trying to help you. And he talks down to you and condescends to you. And that's what makes him a complete monster. And that's what we're seeing with your Joe Biden. Textbook nice guy, textbook monster. And sadly, many Americans can't connect the dots to see that we're in the jerk nice guy paradigm. And the nice guy is showing us how evil he truly is, because his way is the only way. But when you start taking a critical examination of him, you realize that his way is the thing that's going to destroy you.
Yeah, this is an example. This is they predicted this 25 years ago. This is Joe Biden.
President Benson, where is your first lady? My first lady? Hell, I don't know. I've had a lot of women. Lost my flower at the tender age of 15. I can't keep track of all of them. Let's get this over with. Not feeling so well today. My intestines were removed during action in the North Atlantic. Took a torpedo in the lower abdomen and they replaced every foot of my bowel with hemp. Clogged easily.
I can't play all of it, but that's Lloyd Bridges as President Benson in Hot Shots. That reminds me of President Biden. First lady, what are you talking about? I've lost my flower at the tender age of 18. I can't even remember that. Not knowing where you are, huh? That's Shawn?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we have our final topic, ladies and gentlemen. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button, of course, and hopefully I'll be back in the I'll be back and not have a copyright strike taken. I've had my videos taken down. One of my videos was blocked completely because remember I showed that video of Dan Aykroyd talking about why that movie Behind the Candelabra wasn't going to be released in theaters. So somebody filed a copyright strike on me. So right now it's in the debating it. But, you know, even you claiming fair use, people will do crap like that. But hopefully I won't get removed. But we'll go ahead and look at this. This is one of our last topics. So there was jury selection that was going on the past week. You know, we haven't heard too much about Ahmaud Arbery recently, but they began jury selections, and I have it for one black juror out of 12 was selected. Now, what happened, and you're going to see in this video, and I'm tying it also in what went on with Kyle Rittenhouse and another juror, was that a juror was removed from that trial because of a joke that he made in regards to Jacob Blake. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to first show the Kyle Rittenhouse video because they began trial earlier this week, and this was day 3. And the judge, Schroeder, his name is Schroeder, removed this juror because of a joke, offensive joke that he had made. They didn't repeat what the joke is, but it was obviously confirmed that he made a joke, and that was enough for the judge to dismiss him from the case. So we'll go ahead and play that, and then what I'm going to do is segue into tying it into what's going on with Ahmaud Arbery's case, and I have another video to show with that.
The reason I asked you to come down was there was I was told that while you were being escorted to the car the other day, that you began to tell a joke about the shooting of Jacob Blake. And I wanted to see if is that accurate or not. It is? Okay. Are you comfortable repeating what the joke was, or do you want to just leave it alone? I'm going to tell you that I spoke about, well, I guess I'll hear from Mr. Did you want to finish what you were saying? I will tell you that I've talked quite a bit about public confidence in the outcome of the trial, and regardless of whether the issue is as grave as you presented it in terms of inner feelings. It is clear that the appearance of bias is present, and it would seriously undermine the outcome of the case. So that in itself would be sufficient cause for discharge. But if you want to expand on that, you're welcome to.
No, we aren't.
Did you want to say anything, defense?
If number 7's unwilling to repeat it, what it was, I think we're at a disadvantage. And I suppose his unwillingness can be taken in the worst light. So based on the unwillingness at this point, I think it's probably the proper course.
Okay. All right. I think the best thing under the circumstances, I'm going to dismiss you from the jury, sir. And we do thank you for taking the time to come down here. Thank you.
My feeling is that it was nothing to do with the case. It was Kyle and his 7 charges.
Here, and I have not. I've not stated that you have. It's not. One of the things that I have to do when I have to make judgments, I try to confine my judgment to the things I have to judge and not to forming opinions about other people other than that. So I don't want to get into that. The point I'm making is that the public needs to be confident that this is a fair trial, and I think even at the very most, it was bad judgment to tell a joke of that nature. Okay, so that's okay. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, so that happened in this case, and I know, Shawn, you've done a video. I've talked about the judge and the way he's handling. A lot of people say he's been too favorable to Kyle Rittenhouse. Like he's Kyle. One guy, our brother Rico, he said he wonders if this was Kyle Rittenhouse's father because he was really babying him. But I started watching it, and I saw the prosecutors are making their arguments and actually putting on their evidence, our case in chief, as we say, showing videos of Rittenhouse there with the AR-15 that was given to him illegally. We should say that he was carrying that. But of course, that was why he was charged. And, I say always as a general rule, there's a trial going on, and as a lawyer, just before innocent until proven guilty, although I know how y'all feel and even how I feel, but I'm waiting to see what everything comes out. Now, what's interesting, Shawn, they dismissed this juror for that. They don't know, and they have not disclosed the racial makeup of that jury, unlike the Ahmaud Arbery case. Now, I'm going to jump over to that and what happened with the Ahmaud Arbery situation today. Now, what happened, and you're going to see, ladies and gentlemen, what the district attorney, the assistant ADA, had to say, coupled with this report from ABC News that I'm going to show for you as well. But first, let me go ahead and play what was said on ABC, then the arguments in the courtroom earlier today. So let's go for the ABC report first.
In this murder case, and today we have
fair
12,
use,
and as we mentioned,
fair use, guys.
Only one is black. The Superior Court Judge Timothy Walmsley, who will oversee the courtroom, has acknowledged, as Alex just said, that intentional discrimination by attorneys has been seen for those 3 defendants, appearing to have shaped the jury selection now, and it's already created quite a conversation and controversy there at the courthouse. ABC News contributor and host of the Law and Crime Network, Brian Buckmeyer, with us. He's going to be following the trial there in Georgia along with us. He is there. Brian, you were able to go inside that courtroom once for the jury selection. What do you think? Will this statement by the court, the judge, of intentional discrimination in any way directly impact the court's proceedings here?
So thank you for having me. It was actually interesting. I was there, as you said, for one day of the jury selection. I've been there for quite some time as well. I actually got to speak with Ahmaud Arbery's older aunt this morning. And when we talk about the jury selection process and what would have occurred yesterday, that being what's called a Batson challenge, where the prosecution said the defense collectively had 24 strikes, and 11 of those 24, almost half, were for African-American individuals. They challenged that and said there is bias here by the defense. And what the judge said is there are 2 steps in this. First, you have to see whether on its face there is some form of bias. And the judge actually to his credit, I've never seen this from many judges, said, I see it. I can see what you're doing here, that you've asked questions of both white jurors and black jurors. There are more questions for the black jurors. And those jurors who said, I've seen a lot of this case, but I can put it to the side and still listen to the facts of the trial. The white jurors seemed to move on when the black jurors did not. And so the prosecution made the argument, and the judge, I think you can tell from his facial expressions, his tone, he was very cerebral when he said, the law of Georgia does not allow me to act. He said the first step of seeing whether or not there was bias, he said, I saw it there. I see what you're doing here, defense, but you have given non-race or race-neutral explanations for excluding them. And it almost seemed like he was saying, my hands are tied. I have to agree with you, defense attorneys, and I have to say that these jurors are not going to come into this trial.
Wow. Well, clearly race is already a key issue in this entire case. Do you think that the prosecution can use the judge's statements there as a weapon against the defense now? He clearly made his point.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen because this is a judicial ruling. I think we as a community and we as the media can talk about it and definitely highlight that he had some trouble with this decision. It didn't seem like one that he took lightly. And I think that they will maybe intertwine some of the racial aspects of this case into it, but I don't think they'll be able to use the actual judge's words in front of the jury. In Georgia, when they pick a jury, they have what's called a silent strike. It's almost like a silent auction, where the jurors are not actually hearing a lot of the arguments or even hearing who's being selected by the defense or the prosecution. So what we're talking about, they're not going to hear, and they didn't hear at the time of jury selection. So only we can see what's going on. But with most judges, they're humans like anyone else. And so you may see that maybe his rulings will go a little bit more to the prosecution throughout today. For example, two of the arguments today, the prosecution won both, where the defense were trying to bring in a use of force expert because Travis McMichael was a former U.S. Coast Guard for 10 years to try to corroborate what he did that day. That's not coming in. The other one is that there was a little bit of THC in Ahmaud Arbery's system, and the defense wanted to bring that in to show that he was aggressive or confrontational, had combative behavior because of that THC. The judge says that's not coming in either. And so you can kind of see the judge weighing the evidence and the facts here. And maybe yesterday's ruling weighed upon him, and he's kind of leaning a little bit more to the prosecution today, but I don't think that the actual information as his decision is going to be before the jury.
Final question, the evidence you're paying close attention to. Of course, there's that video that went viral. We've all seen it. Essential to this case, clearly. What else?
So there's that video. Definitely, I would say that those are the skeleton of this case. But when you start thinking of the tendons and the muscles that go along with it, it's also the body-worn camera video of the officers when Gregory McMichael is talking to the officers. He's telling them that he didn't necessarily see Ahmaud Arbery come out of the home, merely that he saw him running down the street. Now, that's important because we're thinking about citizen's arrest and self-defense. Now, the citizen's arrest law that they're going to be using in this case has been repealed and replaced. But because they were arrested at the time that it was enacted, they're going to argue the old citizen's arrest law, which they're allowed to. But that law even said you have to have a certain amount of information that a felony occurred. If you simply see an individual running down the street, that's not a felony. You could believe they may have been committed a crime beforehand, but that body-worn camera tells us that he didn't. The other major issue is 3 shots went off. And the big question that I think most of our viewers have to listen to in this trial is whether or not that shotgun is semi-automatic or pump action. Semi-automatic, maybe Travis McMichael can argue, hey, in the heat of the moment, it went off 3 times. But if that gun is a pump action shotgun and he had to pump it each time to shoot Ahmaud Arbery, the second and third shot could land Travis McMichael in malice murder territory, which is a top charge that the McMichaels are facing.
Well, Brian Buckmeyer, I know you'll be with us as we follow this trial. Appreciate your time
Today,
today. We
we'll
will
have
have gavel-to-gavel coverage of it as it starts tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage,
Hey, get rid of this asshole. I don't like him. Stephanopoulos was the one that shitted on Cosby after his conviction and wouldn't let his spokespersons talk. Y'all remember that?
Yep.
Now his wife is actually was actually on In Living Color. The white girl's name. I remember she was a featured player. It'll come. Y'all know who it is in the chat. Anyway, I'm done with that jackass.
Yeah.
But let me play this. This is now this is actually in court. Now, let me say this. The population of Brunswick is about 85,000, where Ahmaud Arbery was killed, Glenn County. And out of that 85,000, there's only 27% black. So today, when they were doing voir dire, which is jury selection, the DA here, her name is Linda Dunikowski. She was arguing with attorney Laura Hogg, who represents Greg McMichael, over the questioning of black jurors. So this is specifically what the judge, what you heard them say, the judge knew what they were doing. This is what they're talking about, and she's going to explain it to you.
I'm also going to ask the court to take a look at how much time was spent with each and every one of the African-American jurors. Once again, this isn't one page of notes. This is 4 pages of notes. Mrs. Hogue just went through all of that. We got down to even talking about the kids having watched this on TV and talking about questions. No other white female juror got into, well, have your kids seen it? And what did you talk to your children about? And how did you get into that? But with African-American jurors, we went down this path, deep dive into their lives over and over again with 4 pages of notes, where a lot of the white females, no questions were asked. In this case, I want to point out that while she talked about the hate crime bill, she then said, the hate crime, I don't know that yet about this case. And that was something that was glossed over during that. She says that she hopes racism did not play a part in this case. So once again, this juror is similarly situated to every other juror who came in here and was asked, what do you think you know about this case? And they said, three men decided to take the law into their own hands to stop who could or could not have been trespassing in nearby homes. When she was asked by Mr. Sheffield about, can you assure us, basically, can you assure us that you'll be open-minded and consider the evidence? She said, yes, I'm going to listen to all the evidence. This is no different than any other juror that he asked that exact same question to and received the exact same answer. So this juror, while there was a lot of reasons, there's 4 pages of notes with a lot of time spent with this juror, deep diving into her life. And the genuineness of the list and litany is no different than any other similarly situated juror. We ask that you please reseat juror 414. Thank you.
Your Honor, my response to that is this. Number one, that argument pretends as if the reality is not what it is. As if we were trying a rape case and Ms. Dunikowski would say, how come you didn't explore that more deeply with the men on the jury? The idea of being accosted, the kind of feelings that you would have about that, the kind of things that only those jurors that were women would feel. So the idea that we would be questioning jurors who made very clear statements about their opinions about this case and the role that race played in this case, as we did with a number of white jurors who had strong opinions about race and the role that race played in this case. Those are the folks that we're going to do the deep dive with.
All right. Now, I saw my brother Darius from Atlanta. He said Brunswick is predominantly black. Well, the jury pool where the trial is being held this is on CBS News. They say it's 27% black with a population of 85%, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. The judge said 25% of the pool from which the final jury was chosen was black. Defense attorneys say that the McMichaels and Bryan committed no crimes. They say Arbery had been recorded by security cameras inside a nearby house, and they suspected him of stealing. Greg McMichael told his police his son opened fire in self-defense after Arbery attacked with his fist and grappled for Travis McMichael's shotgun. Investigators have said Arbery was unarmed and there was no evidence he had stolen anything. So I got to say about this, only one juror is black on this trial. Gunakowski noted, as we saw in that video, you just saw her, the ADA, that many prospective jurors questioned in open court, expressing strong opinions about the case, but all who remained in the pool from which the 12 jurors emerged said that they could be impartial and base a verdict solely on the evidence. So with that being said, Shawn, and this is our final topic, I'm going to give you, and I know we've been waiting to hear your response. I want to give you the floor, sir, to open about what you think. And this is the article, ladies and gentlemen, from CBS News. I'm going to put this in the chat. But Shawn, go ahead and give us your 2 cents.
Well, this looks like the fix is in from the prosecutor's office. They're trying to get these guys off. And going out here and getting a predominantly white jury in an area where you have a lot of black people living, that looks like a major fix is in. So this case, like the Kyle Rittenhouse case, looks like they're trying to fix it so that they can give these white supremacists a pass, even though the evidence shows they committed murder. Because if you believe somebody was trespassing on property that you don't even own, you would call law enforcement. You would not go out here and handle it yourself, because there's a liability issue there if this person is innocent. And besides, you would want law enforcement to investigate, because they have authority to go out here and arrest an individual for trespassing. And this whole case looks like a case of racial profiling as related to Ahmaud Arbery. And what is there is that the evidence is so irrefutable as related to this case. What they want to do is put a fix in order to get these guys off. And that fix starts at the prosecutor's office. Now, this is very similar to what's happening with Kyle Rittenhouse, that beta male murderer who willfully and I believe intentionally went down to Kenosha, Wisconsin, to, I believe, murder people. Now, this is my opinion about Kyle Rittenhouse, that spoiled, rotten little weasel. He went out here and tried to manipulate people to drive him down there, talking about he's out to protect businesses. But no business owner who has any critical thinking skills is going to let a minor come to their property and defend it during a riot, because they would have to deal with liability issues if this boy were injured. And the whole thing is, with this Kyle Rittenhouse, this spoiled, rotten little monster, he wanted to go out here and use the cover of the riots to participate, I believe, in a mass shooting where he would murder black people, because he thought it was Black Lives Matter protesters were going to be black, but he ran into white protesters. And what happened was he ran into some people and it didn't go the way he expected. Now you have a bunch of enablers looking to make excuses for all 4 of these white supremacists and give them a pass for their criminal behavior. And we have the criminal justice system looking like it's trying to fix things for these murderers. And again, it's very interesting that earlier in the year, they symbolically sacrificed your Derek Chauvin, but now it looks like they're going back to business as usual.
Yeah. Well, what I will say, first and foremost, about Rittenhouse, I said this before. He's from Illinois, right? So
yeah,
how is it, or why would a parent bring their child from, and I'm assuming this has got to be over an hour away. I don't know what the distance. I don't know what the exact distance is.
But just to go over there in a riot situation, police officers have not contained the situation. You're not trained to go out
and this
here.
wasn't his gun.
No.
From what he was, and what it has come out, he was charged. He's being charged, obviously, with first-degree murder for shooting Rosenbaum and Huber, and also wounding another one named Gross-Kreutz. Gage Gross-Kreutz. If I'm butchering his name, my bad. But here's some FBI surveillance that they had here. I'm going to share it with you. CNN has this of the final. This is an infrared video of the interaction between Rittenhouse and Joseph Rosenbaum. Now, let me say this, and Shawn, you know this, everybody knows as a lawyer, I'm well aware of what the self-defense laws are. And self-defense requires that it's not just imminent fear of death. It also is about serious bodily injury. So it's about, and when you assert a self-defense claim, it's about whether or not a jury will believe that there was a threat and that it was imminent, and where you're life in danger or where you're going to receive serious bodily injury. Yes, he put himself in this position, his mother too, by bringing him out there. It's not illegal that he came from Illinois to Wisconsin in of itself. But I think it's shame on her for putting her child even in that situation, as you're pointing out, because there's a riot going on. Why would you want your kid out there parading the streets, even if he's involved in the militia, supposedly? I'm gonna drive you out. I'm gonna drive you a whole hour away for that. Yeah,
that does not sound right. And what person would take a minor into a situation? I mean, where are the child abuse and child neglect lawsuits? I mean, where's the DA on that? I mean, this is a minor going cross state lines, and this is a
he's
clear
got 7 charges. First degree intentional homicide, first degree reckless homicide, first degree attempted intentional homicide. But go ahead, Shawn. I apologize.
Yeah, but this whole case, it just really stinks. And what we're seeing is white supremacy going back to business as usual, looking to try to give these 4 monsters a pass, and looking to try to justify it and think that we're supposed to just go along with it. But there's no going along with evil. This is evil right here in all 2 of these cases. It's just evil to racially profile a man who's just walking into a neighborhood, and it's evil for a guy to go down to another city with malice of forethought to go to a riot and look for people to go out here and harm by talking about security. This is the same argument that George Zimmerman made with Trayvon Martin. And these type of so-called wannabe heroes, their reckless behavior puts everybody in jeopardy, because a lot of these people, even though they know how to allegedly have these firearms, they really don't have any training. They want to be cops, but they show us that they're not good at following laws, because they don't understand that part of law enforcement is being a part of acknowledging authority, acknowledging chain of command, and the ability to follow directions. And when you have people like this who are lawless, what they do is they participate in incidents like this that lead to the deaths of people like the people in the Rittenhouse situation, or people like Trayvon Martin.
Darius asks, what about him being in possession of a firearm underage? Yes, that is against the law, Darius, but even with possession of that firearm, that is not an element to murder, nor does it dissuade the fact if he believed his life were in danger. Again, it's about what a jury is ultimately going to believe. Now, apparently before the shooting, they said they played video from different perspectives. That's what the prosecutor did today. And apparently during examination and cross-examination from the DA and cross-examination from Rittenhouse lawyer, he alleged that the victim, Rosenbaum, was in the parking lot setting a store, Duramax, on fire. As Kyle comes to Duramax, this individual, Mr. Rosenbaum, begins to come out of his hiding place, says Richards, pointing to Rosenbaum in the video. Howard confirmed the attorney's statement and confirmed that Rosenbaum was wearing a mask. Richards argued that Rosenbaum was in hiding as Rittenhouse arrived in the parking lot, which Howard confirmed. This Howard is the lead investigator in the case from Kenosha. He says Rittenhouse slows down in the video, and there appears to be some kind of exchange, but there's no audio. Other videos from witnesses on the ground show that Rittenhouse could be heard yelling friendly, friendly, friendly at this point, and it does not dissuade Mr. Rosenbaum, correct? Richard says, and Howard responded, correct. Now, let me say this. You see in this CNN article, these are all white boys.
Yep. That
was shot. Now, I'm pointing that out for a reason, guys, and that's because this was not, I'm saying this to say, you saw all of these riots and protests that were going on during George Floyd and Jacob Blake shooting. This was not started by us.
Nope.
The rioting and looting was not black people. The movement is not even black people.
Nope.
It's LGBTQ. It's white feminists. It's white males who were stuck at home and wanted something to do. That's what you're seeing here. No brothers were shot. So it's not that I'm not taking up for Rittenhouse or anything. As a lawyer, I call it how I see it. I know how the law is. And a lot of people can't go on it. When it comes to it, we can't look at this from an emotional perspective. You have to look at it all from legal, for me, I look at it from a legal perspective because I know what the law is and what's going to be applied. So I have no doubt. Well, I'm not going to say I have no doubt. Let me rephrase that. I will not be surprised if he did walk just because I know what the law is. Even with Ahmaud Arbery. And Ahmaud Arbery is not on trial. They call it the Ahmaud Arbery trial. It's not. It's the George McMichael. It's the Greg McMichael, Travis McMichael, and William Riley Bryant trial. But you notice that they're going to try their damnedest, as that reporter was talking about, to mention Ahmaud Arbery's past and to try to make the three of them, those individuals, the victims, and not Ahmaud Arbery, who is dead. That's what they do. They're going for another Trayvon Martin.
Yep.
Shawn, I'll let you have the last word.
No, I can tell you that the fix is in, and what they're trying to do is they're trying to get these guys off. And it's really disturbing because it just shows you how just dangerously dysfunctional America's criminal justice system is. I mean, you sit there and say that you want to get innocent until proven guilty, but you're trying to fix it for these white supremacists to get a pass to continue participating in the terrorism that they continue to participate in. And that really just shows how really evil this criminal justice system is. You have prosecutors willfully and intentionally trying to fix things for some very dangerous beta males who eventually are going to go out here and do this again. If you give this guy, Kyle Rittenhouse, a pass, he, like Mr. Superboy said in his own video a while back, is going to do this again. And I know the pattern of these kind of beta males because they have an obsession with being a hero. And his arrogance is going to make him go out here and do harm to somebody else. And he's going to be a clear and present danger to others, the same way George Zimmerman was a clear and present danger. And the same way these three wannabe heroes were in the case of, Ahmaud Arbery. When it comes down to these kind of guys, they have an obsession with trying to be a hero, but oftentimes these guys are villains because they are not looking to help out other people. It's all about sating their ego and controlling a fiefdom. And if you give these people an inch, they will take a mile because their behavior is, again, very sociopathic. And that's something many Americans aren't really thinking about as related to these wannabe heroes. I want to do a whole video on these wannabe kind of heroes because it's all about them going out here and sating their ego, where they can go out here and say, I saved somebody or I protected the community. But these people don't know what protecting things is all about. They don't know about helping other people. All they want to do is have power and control, because many of these people, they feel very powerless in and of themselves. So they want to go out here and they want to take power by bullying and controlling other people. And that's the scary part about this with these kind of guys, is that most people will say, oh, he's a hero, but in actuality, this is a villain, and you don't know how much of a villain this kind of guy is until they take the life of your loved one, or they wind up in a domestic violence situation with one of your loved ones.
Yeah. Look, they abolished that law in Georgia, that citizens arrest thing. That still sounds similar. It's almost to a stand your ground. I know it's different, but it's, for me, I'm getting the vibes from what happened back with Trayvon, the stand your ground law that was coming out. We have one here in Louisiana, stand your ground, where what that essentially means is where you're in a place, you have a rightful place to be. Let me start over. Anywhere you have a rightful place to be in, whether it's in public, whether it's your home, but even in public, you have no duty to retreat. And that's what they tried to do with George Zimmerman, although you could flip it around and the argument should have and could have been made for Trayvon, because he had every right to stand his ground when he was confronted by this pig, George Zimmerman. And that's what he was. He got fat. You notice he got fat during the trial to make it look more sympathetic.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't fight this kid. Look how fat I am. I had to have a gun.
He was trying to control that complex. That's classic beta male behavior.
And he's gone to festivals. He's gone to, he was invited to speak at the Second Amendment. And here's why I want to dominate the Second Amendment field, and why I want to own my own. Black people, I feel like there's nothing we can't accomplish. We can get into these areas, even though they're predominantly white. You can make a killing from this. The Second Amendment, these pro-gun clubs and so forth, we got to get more active in those, because the Constitution applies to us like anybody else.
Yeah.
Like Thurgood Marshall even said, it wasn't written for us, but now we're going to make it for us. And you have to. You don't make yourself think, well, because this is a racist country, it don't apply to me. No, it applies to you. Make it apply to you, baby. Don't let these white supremacists tell you what you can and can't do. Look, I want to open up, I want to have an ammunition depot, Shawn. Do you know that last year that they had a shortage on ammo back in 2020?
Yeah, I do. I read about that.
Yeah, I did a video about it. Well, that's up to the prosecutor. I think what happened, though, I could be wrong, the person who gave the gun to him was arrested. She didn't give him the gun. The mother didn't give the gun. He got it from someone else, I believe, there when he got there at that time. I don't want to say the wrong facts, but is that right, Shawn?
It might possibly be. They change the story every 8 seconds.
Okay. I don't want to say the wrong thing because I know there's a trial going on, but
yeah,
I think that he got the gun. I could be wrong. I believe he got the gun. I believe he did have the gun prior to that. I'm not sure. I don't want to say the wrong stuff, but
yeah,
she's not going to get charged or hasn't been charged because it wasn't her firearm. But the guy who gave it to him can be charged because he knows he wasn't supposed to do that. You got to be careful, especially if you're giving your guns to different people. Like if you're going to transfer a gun, if you're going to sell it, you got to make sure you have a bill of sale just to cover your ass.
Yep. Because you're liable if anything happens.
Well, in case anything happens, but you want to have it on record, make an if you don't like having paper, make an electronic copy of it. You see this phone here? You can scan stuff to it. You just take a picture of it. Whatever it is. Please make sure you have your protection. So I'm reading here. I know you got to run, Shawn, because it's getting late, but I want to just look at this.
All right.
So Kyle Rittenhouse, I'm just saying this. So Rittenhouse lived in Antioch, Illinois, which is 1 mile south of the border of Wisconsin. So Rittenhouse, according to what his attorneys have said, he heard about a local business owner who wanted help defending his car dealership. And he and his friend, Dominic Black, armed themselves with rifles and went to that business. The dealership suffered $1.5 million in arson damage the previous night. And it says, Rittenhouse says here, the reason why he was at the car dealership, according to reporter Richie McGinnis of the Daily Caller. So people are getting injured, and our job is to protect this business. Part of my job is also to help.
You can't hire licensed security?
The security didn't show up. If they did, if he had it.
Because I would be scared to let 2 children defend my
even
business.
Even if any neighbors or something come over, would you want that liability on you?
No, I wouldn't, because I would get sued.
Right.
If they get hurt.
Absolutely, Knight Rider. It is irresponsible for black people to be unarmed in this day and time. Shawn, you got to get armed. I know you're up in New York. By the way, before you go, but I got to ask you about the new black mayor that's coming in.
I don't trust him. I believe he's going to be Obama Dinkins 2.0, and he's going to be weak and ineffective and soft.
Man,
he talks a good game, but he's pretty much in their pocket. So I don't expect much from Eric Adams. I mean, he's a bought and paid for bootleg.
He supports stop and frisk.
Yeah.
He's flip-flopped on it, but now he supports it, and
black folks are going to regret it.
Yeah, he's basically he's Barack Obama negative 2.0. He's Dave Dinkins reincarnated, huh?
Yep. He's not going to do anything, and people are going to regret voting for him the same way they regretted voting for Dave Dinkins.
Was Dinkins that bad?
Yeah, he was that bad. I lived through Dave Dinkins. He was that terrible. He was incompetent.
Okay.
He let the city just fall. 2,000 murders. I mean, 2,200 murders in 1 year, 2,000 murders the next year. And he didn't do anything until a white man wound up dead. Then he wanted to do something.
Yeah. But Shawn, you got to get your gun, man. Y'all, everybody there, even if you're in those liberal states, get a gun. I don't care what kind. If it's a 6-shooter or a slide, a Glock. If you get an AR-15, great. If you get a shotgun, great. Get something in your house. Get some protection.
Yeah, I definitely want to get one. Just got to get this bureaucracy.
You could get one now. You can't get one in New York. You're not a criminal.
Yeah, well, it's a long process. But we'll see what happens.
About how long does it take for you to have one in your house? Because
I'll have to see. I have to go look through the process.
Yeah. I can tell you about it because I've read on it. But yeah, Darius says, get your Second Amendment game in order, Shawn. Darius from Atlanta. He's from, thank God I live in the South. We ain't got to deal with this shit, huh, Darius?
Nope.
Get a gun whenever. That's right. Well, we're going to wrap this live stream up, ladies and gentlemen. Shawn I know he's got to go. But our brother's a working man. So, yeah, they do. New York and New Jersey has terrible gun laws. So does California. Chicago.
They have the most crime.
Yeah, Chicago has one. Chicago, Washington, D.C. If gun control worked, those cities would be safe. but they have the highest crime and murder rates and the toughest laws to get guns. And you know why? Criminals don't listen to laws.
Nope, they don't follow the law. They do whatever they please.
Then again, I don't want crime to stop, because if it did, I'd be out of a job too. So if it did, I shouldn't say I don't want it to stop. I'll just say I'll just be quiet on that one, because they'll use that against me if I run for office. Richard said this in a live stream before he ran for mayor. I don't want crime to stop. I'd run out of a job. Gavin Richard. He wants more crime. Do you? Paid for by the citizens of the Rainbow Coalition. No, paid for by the WNBA. All right. I know you got to run, Shawn.
All right. It was good to be on the show with you.
Put some salt in your mouth. Yes. Well, we don't have that here in Louisiana. Yeah, they'll have a dozy on me. Yeah. Shit. Who knows? They may take me out before I get to the polls, because they know I'll change stuff. Well, yeah, there's always going to be crime, but those socialists those loony bins will try and say, we need crime here because people can't work, so they need to go ahead and occupy this. Burn this down, baby. Burn it down. Shawn, you want to do a plug-in for your book before you go?
All right, I have 2 new books out as part of the SJS Direct Fall catalog. The first is Stop Simping in Cyberspace, which is available right now on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. It's also available on Google Play as well, so you can pick that new part of the Simp series of it on Amazon, book Google Play, and it's coming to Smashwords and their affiliates soon. And the other book that I have available is E-Steam Cancelification, which is now available in paperback on Amazon and will soon be available on Kindle on November 19th.
All right. Let me also make an announcement too, ladies and gentlemen. You have seen this obviously around, because been playing it at the start of our show, because I'm plugging in my book, The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in the United States. And you see that there. Tomorrow, I'm actually going to be starting a virtual tour to go on some Black programs and promote the book, which is going to be released this fall. So if anybody knows any radio stations I could go on, tomorrow I will be on the Queen Amadaya show at 1 o'clock Central Time, 2 o'clock Eastern. We're going to be talking about the book. So please, if you are a royal or royalette, tune in to Queen Amadaya's show. And I'm sure, our brother Shawn one day will probably do a review of my book or so to promote it as well, because I know he likes talking about stuff like this.
Yeah, I'll definitely do a review, and I will definitely promote it on my channel, and I will promote it on a live stream if I can. So it's a really great book. I can say that from reading it, and it provides a lot of comprehensive information regarding Bill Cosby's case and why he was denied due process under the law.
That's right, Shawn. So everybody that loves Shawn, listen to him, buy this book. And if you love me, buy the book. And it doesn't take long, Shawn, to get once you upload something through Amazon, it's readily available. It's not like going through a publisher.
Yeah,
in a traditional sense.
Yes, it's within 24 hours. It's all over the world.
Right. So I'm looking forward to doing that. It's just a reason why I don't have a specific date. You always want to make sure you CYA cover your ass. That's the lesson I try and teach you all when we do this live stream, because you say things, there may be stuff that's in there you're not supposed to have. So my legal team looks over it. And right now my legal team is actually swamped. So I'm hoping to hear back from my lawyer soon, later on. But anyway, you guys, Shawn, I appreciate it. You being here tonight. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. If you love this channel, donate to the Patreon, the Cash App. The Patreon is right here. That's where you can go to see exclusive new content. I think I need to upload some videos, straight videos. It's been a while since I've done those. So probably over the weekend I'll have some stuff ready for you and even put it on the Patreon. I'll probably talk about why I came to write this book and what it takes to write a book. It's a lot of discipline. I'll tell you that much. And Shawn knows that. If you'd like to advertise, ladies and gentlemen, you can email me I say donate. Donating is good too. But you can email me at gavin.grich1@gmail.com, gavin.grich1@gmail.com. I need to shout out a couple of people. Louisiana is civil law. We're not a Commonwealth. Commonwealth is what they call Pennsylvania, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. That's the actual caption of the case. We just say state of Louisiana versus, let's say, Shawn James. Shawn, I just made you a criminal. But NawniesCreoleBlends.com, that's where you can get our seasoning, trying on chicken, meat, or fish. Nawnies goes great with every dish. Thank you, Black Voltron. Shout out to Darius and Nikki Ivory for their contributions, their gifts. I greatly appreciate it. I would also say, ladies and gentlemen, if you could, since I love promoting, having Shawn on and promoting his work, go to Amazon.com. You can go to that hyperlink, look up Shawn James, author, and you'll see about 75 books that'll pop up. So please support him. He's also going to be doing a live stream tomorrow. He does it every Friday. What's the topic on tomorrow, Shawn?
I think I'm going to be talking about the Dirty Mac.
What's that?
That's a guy who just goes out here and he tries to get involved with other men's women. So that might be the topic. We might be talking about the Dirty Mac and going in depth on why these guys are just horrible people.
Oh, you mean like Lou Gossett Jr. and the Jeffersons when he tried to get at Wheezy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a Dirty Mac.
Also, go to Video Soul. Check out and download Video Soul. That's the latest release on iTunes. If you could download that. And also, our theme song, Gotta Get On Up. It's a catchy tune. Hopefully, more and more people will buy it and listen to it. So, as we have gotten on down, it's time to get on up. Shawn, I appreciate you again, sir. Shawn, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, thank
appreciate
you for having me on and really enjoyed talking to you today.
Yes, I enjoy it too, as always, brother. And I'll see you at the next one.
All right, I'll see you next time.
All right, guys, that's been it. It's been another edition of Gavin Richard Presents. Let's get on up and get on out of here. I'll holla. Peace.
Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat, because on the dance floor is where we'll move. Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on Earth wind and fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop or do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the
Now, 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you breathe, then you're achieving. So if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll be.
Feel the groove, get on the floor.
Get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor.
Get on up, baby. Yeah, gotta get on up. Come on, baby, gotta get on up, baby.
Feel the groove, get on the floor.
Get on up.
Good night, everybody. This has been another edition of Gavin Rizal Presents here on channel Jibu2786. That Shawn James, he was just good. So good that he was terrible, terrible, terrible. Don't worry, I won't talk about Kyrie Irving no more. We will keep talking instead about Aaron Rodgers. Oh, wait, I can't. Aaron Rodgers is white. Good night.